Alrighty, we should be good to go.
I hope we are.
Yeah, how was that last run? That was awesome. Really unique game. So, dudes, welcome.
Very cool storyline.
This is Mirror's Edge. My name is Nikos, and I'm joined by Mask, who is going to be co-commentating, and he'll do quite a bit because I need to focus on this. It's a tough game to be consistent at, and I'm a little bit rusty. So, I guess we'll go ahead and get started. So, 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright.
So the first thing you're doing is skipping the training because you can just go right past that. You don't need to learn how to play the game if you already know how to do it. So I'll let Mazku explain kind of some of the core mechanics of the speedrun if you would like to do that.
Yeah. First of all, you just saw a sidestep boost. It's basically a fighting mechanic in this game, but if you just like sidestep away from a guard and turn our mouse immediately, you can get full speed non-stop. It's pretty handy, get used to all the time. What you're about to see is a kick glitch. It's basically what these run rolls are.
So kick glitches abuse the wall running mechanic, where if you wall run and then kick, when you're falling you'll get like a small invisible platform that you can jump off of. So if we scroll the scroll wheel, which is bound to jump, then we can just boost ourselves across and abuse the game quite a lot.
Basically a one-frame thing, but you use the scroll wheel to get the jump. It's consistent.
Yeah, it's especially easy if you have a free scrolling mouse. You can just let it scroll forever. Don't have to worry about the window at all.
Yep.
Alright, so we're coming near the end of prologue, and most of the main stuff is done. Nothing really else to worry about for this one. The story for this game is pretty bare bones. You don't really learn a lot, but it does exist, mainly through cutscenes. But essentially what we're doing is running on rooftops.
That's the gist of the game.
Alright, so here we got to jump onto the helicopter, but the thing is, if you jump too fast, like if you get here too fast, you'll actually fall down and miss it. So that movement up leading to the helicopter was not perfect, so that we can have enough time. So that was prologue, jumping into chapter 1 now. There's not too much that can go wrong with this one, mainly a couple big skips that you got to be good for. So hopefully those go well.
I'll try and explain the skips as they come along. What's happening?
So coming up is an elevator. Elevators in this game, and actually anything that you can interact with, you can use other animations to skip animations like this. So what we're doing is we're sliding. Oh, got stuck there. We're sliding and then pressing the use button at the same time, or scrolling the use button because it's bound to the other scroll wheel. And with that we can skip the animation of pressing the button and it saves some time. So a little bit over the course of the run.
Shit. Get out of that building, move.
So we're going the fast way around these guards if we survive. Nah, gonna have to try that again. Instead of going all the way around, we just bypass these guards, which can be tricky, but saves a lot.
Even if you get the jump.
Oh yeah.
You'll die.
We're probably gonna die again. Yep. It can be pretty rough sometimes.
There's a little bit of RNG there is as well. Even if you get a perfect jump over them, that might still kill you.
Oh, insta like that as well.
Yeah.
Alright. This is the one.
Get out of that building, move.
Okay. We made it past.
The 4th time's a charm, I heard.
Okay, so this skip is very interesting. Masker, would you like to explain that one while I try and do it?
Here comes what is known as a chapter 1 skip. So what happens after you go over this area, we glitch back into the area we just were at. And what happens is the area behind you unloads. So right here is just completely empty. And that allows us to use the wall of the unloaded area as a key glitch over the next section.
And I got that First try. Very nice.
First try as well, and we skip a slow vent, so we don't have to ouch through the vent.
Saves about 15 seconds, so it's not loads, but you know, it adds up. Most of the game is actually good movement. There's a lot of hard skips, but they're, you know, spread out across the chapters. So if you have good movement throughout the rest of the run, then that adds up a lot. That's where lots of the time save is.
Yep.
Oh, whoops. Falling is suboptimal.
Quite indeed. Also, what you'll be seeing in NikosStudios just a moment up these stairs is a bunch of wall boosting in this game. It's basically just you start a wall off a wall, jump off immediately. It gives you a little boost of speed. Makes you go faster.
We just did a kick glitch there to bypass a little bit of running around. It can be annoying to get past that fence, but it's not too bad. And we'll jump over these guards and get into the elevator. So you can also get stuck in elevators if you scroll too fast when you're doing the use button, which is what happened for the first elevator, but as long as you don't scroll too fast, it's pretty avoidable.
Yeah, too many inputs causes it, but
yeah. Right, so that's most of this chapter out of the way. There's only one kind of big kick glitch left that we have to do, and we'll talk about that once it comes out. So essentially,
for longer heights.
Yes, just like this. So we used that platform that spawned to get a little bit of, or to reset the fall damage, the fall height, so we don't take as much damage, or we can roll it. So what happened in this chapter as far as the story goes is our sister Kate is a cop, and she's been framed for the murder of some dude who's running for mayor of the city. So that's why we've got like the cops after us now, because they think she did it and they saw us running away from the scene as well. But obviously it's our sister. We know she's innocent, so I guess the rest of the game, Faith has to undertake the mission of finding out, you know, who's really behind it.
There's a lot of conspiracy theories going on. We don't really even get to the bottom of it in the game, but we scratch the top of it.
Alright, so here we got to do a kick glitch across the gap here instead of going all the way up and over. Nice.
First try?
Yeah, first try. Alright, we're moving into chapter 2. It can be, definitely. But it is a very good one.
The corner of the elevator.
So that is the trash can skip. We're jumping on the trash can just to get over that wall instead of going up and over. So in this section is a skip that lots of the really good runners do, which is nicknamed Cannoli, and it's really difficult, so that's not going to be happening here. But essentially you get up out of bounds on top of this area up here, and you do a series of kick glitches out to a loading trigger, and you just load right into another section of the chapter. We'll be doing something pretty similar coming up here.
We'll use the same loading trigger, but we don't do the fancy one.
Yeah. Oh, it is the same loading trigger, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we can skip turning off vents like that with the slide glitch as well. It's very handy because those take ages to close.
You know what else takes ages? Climbing pipes.
So slow. And crawling in vents.
That too.
Alright, so we're going to get out of bounds here just by jumping over this fence. It's not too hard to do. It's actually very easy to get out of bounds in this game. If you're a casual player, you can just fiddle around and very easily do it. So over here we're going to jump into a specific area and die, hitting a loading zone. Just like that. And we'll load up right into the storm drains, which is underground. Skipping a whole section where we go down underground first.
You'll be seeing a lot of out of bounds skip like that, which is hit. You either die or die in the game, come back in further in the story. A lot of seconds.
So this section can be really, really finicky, going through the storm drains, because you've got all these platforms and things to jump on, and it's very, very tight sometimes. Oh.
Keep going. Don't think those blues won't come down here.
There's nothing major going on here. There's glitches, it's just clean movement.
Yeah, mainly good movement.
In small platforms.
It's all about momentum in this game. If you can maintain your momentum with bunny hops or, you know, wall boosts and stuff like that, then you'll have a really good time.
Take those snipers out or keep out of
So we're going to go past this sniper. Oop. And there's actually these invisible springboards over here. So springboard is a game mechanic. And these ones weren't intended to be used as springboards, but we can skip a little section just by doing that. So that was a first try, very nice.
Very nice.
And we're just going to kick glitch across this gap and get to the end of the storm drains.
Kick glitch comes in real handy in this run.
Very good. Kick glitch chains are a very handy thing for some of the most advanced strats. You can chain them on multiple walls if you jump from one building to another, and especially in the community segmented, it's just so heavily abused. So we're going to do a little skip here to get out of the storm drains a little faster, which it's not too bad. We just got to get onto the wall at a specific angle and we'll get enough height, so saves a lot of height for climbing as well. Let's give this a go.
We
Nice.
hate pipes and into this game. Skip all of them, if possible.
Oh, that was too low. That's gonna be a little bit of a failure.
I made a little fail here and there. It's
No,
fine.
at least we didn't die. Okay. The main thing is you got to get high enough for this. So it's all about the angle that you get onto the wall, and then maintaining that into the wall climb, just like that. Good stuff. Glitch across that and slide into that button. Now we get a little bit of a break. We get to wait while this comes up. Get to chill, drink some water, crack your knuckles. This is a good time for a donation if there are any.
Well, we do have one. We got one from Ghost King, runner of our canon game just a moment ago. He donated $11 and said it was $11 for the run being 11 minutes off PB because I'm a man of my word. And I gave the viewers 50 minutes sparkling. Good luck, Nikos.
Awesome. That was a very, very entertaining run. Thank you. So this is an elevator clip. Basically, we're getting up into the top half of the elevator. I'll explain once I get this.
God knows who he's working for now.
Okay. So we got into the top half of the elevator and we pressed the button. And the game thought that we were on the floor when we pressed the button. So what it did was it clipped us to the nearest flat surface. Ooh. And that flat surface was up outside the elevator. So it's a good way to get up and out. So because we did that, we actually broke the entire sequence with Jackknife. We're basically chasing a dude that we want answers from in the story. And he's supposed to be here. You can probably hear his footsteps, but he's actually invisible for this whole section because we did that. So he's a ghost. Just coming to the end. There's a big kick glitch at the very end of this chapter, which is pretty specific, but once you learn it, it's straightforward.
It's not a frame perfect one, but it's a pretty small angle.
Yeah, it's a very, very specific angle on a wall, and there's like a pipe in front of it, so it takes a lot of practice to get it. I guess just like everything. So I'm going to quit and reload here. Because it saves a little bit of time when you're doing 80%, but this is real time, so that probably wasn't actually the best idea.
It probably actually didn't save any time there, Nikos.
I'll have to remember that for the second time that happens later in the game. Okay, so we got to start from a specific point, get a specific angle, and there we go, right across here. It skips a whole section where you go across the side and do some stuff, and eventually get to this door, which ends the level.
Main thing, it skips pipes again.
Pipes.
You don't want them.
Okay, so this chapter is kind of split into 3 sections, and each section has usually about 1 to 2 strats, main strats to focus on, and then the rest is just good movement. Oh, there we go.
Just kick glitch everywhere. That's all.
So the one coming up now is actually probably my most favorite strat. It's really interesting because what you can do is you can kind of jump up onto the top of objects, right? So what we're doing is that we're abusing that, and we're jumping on top of a light which is on the ceiling. So we're using that to clip out of the ceiling. Once I get up here. And that just skips a whole lot of vent stuff as well. Just like that, up into the ceiling. And we're jumping into another loading zone. So we're picking up a gun here so we can shoot the glass. We don't have to jump through it. Guns are a feature of this game which aren't really used too much. The enemies have them, and you can disable enemies and pick them up. I guess if you want to play it that way you can, but the main goal is to, you know, do parkour.
There is a passive achievement as well. Go to the game up and pick up
Yeah, there is one stage where you have to use a gun, but you don't actually shoot any people with it, so that's good, I guess.
Yes. Still passive, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
I mean, we're shooting a car, so if cars are sentient, then I guess it's bad, but otherwise we're fine.
I mean, you know, the people inside could get hurt. But
This buzzing for this elevator can be really, really loud if you use free scroll, because it just like replays the sound effect over and over and over. Alright, so there are a couple things in this little section. The main thing we're doing is skipping a whole bunch of really annoying movement by going down here. So we just get a straight run all the way to this building. Oh, I missed that. Let's give it another go.
ooh,
Usually you get a nice extended kind of wall climb up that, but sometimes it doesn't happen. Oops.
sometimes you get a sidestep boost off the wall.
Yeah.
Basically allows you to do another wall run. It just gives you extra
There we
time
go.
to jump off.
And this next one is pretty interesting because the building that's in front of us now, if you stand on it, it triggers like the next section to load properly. But if you just kind of wall run on the side of it like this, the area is still there, but the helicopter just kind of breaks and the enemies don't spawn. So we don't have to worry about trying to get past them without them shooting us. We just go straight through. Very handy.
Very handy, it takes away the RNG factors. Possible
Yeah.
RNG factors.
The enemies
Dying.
can be really annoying, even on easy mode. So we always play on easy mode, and they can still be a nuisance. Alright, so there's only one more thing left in this run, which is getting across to the scaffolding. We're basically getting out of bounds and then kick glitching over to a section which is much further on. Instead of kind of going around, it's kind of like a maze scaffolding section outside, so it's good that we skipped that entire section.
Yeah, we basically skipped the very end of the scaffolding section.
So what we're doing is getting on top of this vent, this air conditioning. Once I make it.
Yeah, we're using the sidestep boost of a wall in order to get the extra wall run.
Yeah.
Just get a little bit of extra height out of the wall climbs.
Can be a little bit finicky.
Allows us to
There we
get
go.
on top. It can.
Yeah. But basically, if you sidestep while you're climbing up a wall, then you can jump off of the wall again and do other things. Just a kick glitch there. Easy, easy. The angle is a little bit hard to get sometimes, but
Perfect angle as well.
yeah. Skip a little bit of the scaffolding by jumping up like this. And here we are at pretty much the end of the chapter. There's no worry about the helicopter shooting you, because as long as you're moving it, it'll miss. So with these soft bits here, we do a Q-turn which turns us around, and that allows us to skip the animation of landing on it. So for those who have played Mercy before, if you land on these red things, man, you just take forever to recover, so
Hey, can you get a
going
message
backwards
to Miller?
skips that quite
I need to see
nicely.
him again.
Sure.
A long widescreen.
It takes ages to go to the next chapter. So this is a pretty short chapter, chapter 4. There's mainly one skip at the start. The rest, oh, that's an electric fence. You can die to those.
Yeah. They can hurt. They can hurt. Not advised to stand on top of them.
Yeah. It doesn't feel the
Just fly
best
with
getting electrocuted.
That's true.
Would you like to
Haven't tried
explain
myself.
how this skip works, Masku?
Yeah, we do the what is known as chapter 4 skip. So basically, go out of bounds using the sidestep boost we were using in the previous chapter. Then we slide off through the part of the roof that doesn't actually exist, and we slide
Cool.
off at such an angle. Okay, well, let's get
Just
there
gotta
first.
get it. There we go. Alright. So sliding
Here
off
we
at a
slide
certain
off.
angle.
Yeah. And that angle allows us to fall into a checkpoint trigger.
And I force buffered too much. No. I got the checkpoint right, but I fell too far. Let's do that again.
Yeah, you need to pause buffer a bit there when you're falling, because once you get the checkpoint, the area around you starts loading up. So you need to be in the pause mode while the area around you loads, so you can
Yeah.
land on the surface and die, and then get the checkpoint out of that. You'll see it happen now.
We just got to get this out of bounds again. There we go. Just slide in. There we go. That should be it. Easy. The
Yeah,
rest
you
of the
can see
chapter is
the-
pretty straightforward. There's a thing here called blue wall, which people can do, which essentially is wall boosting off of this blue wall to the right, and but it takes like some really specific angles to get it consistent. And I mean, if you can do that, then you can skip the train on the side, but it's pretty tough.
It is a pretty specific angle, and you can easily fail. It is.
Okay, the rest of this is good movement. It's a very tight area, this place, so you gotta move efficiently. Oops.
That area you can move efficiently, and all you can hear is an oops.
Alright,
Getting close. Get
so
moving,
what we're... I'm not actually sure what the story does in this chapter. It's been so long since I've actually done anything to do with the story.
In this chapter, since we didn't get enough info from the jackknife in the previous chapter, the ghost we were chasing,
Yeah.
we went after the Kate's like commanding officer, another cop, get more info out of him, if I recall. We also ran into... Oh, we were just basically trying to get even more information
Yeah.
about what's
Faith
happening
is
with
doing
Kate,
reconnaissance and finding out information about the whole story. So this is the end of the chapter here. It's basically like one of the few existing first-person shooter auto-scrollers, I guess, or first-person auto-scrollers. We're stuck on this train, this loud train, and we just have to wait until the end. So this is a good time for a donation. If we can hear. It's super loud, so I don't know if we'd be able to hear.
Alright, I can go with some extra volume. We've got $10 from Gingerbeard Band 1. He said, go Nikos, sub for me. And we had $12 from Texas that said, Nikos, try to keep the unintentional deaths to less than 15 a day. Keep it up.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Hey guys, keep those donations coming in. This is an awesome thing this marathon is doing, raising money for California Fire Relief, so keep it up. Alright, so we're just dodging those signs there, and now we're going to use this sign right here to stop ourselves. There's no forward momentum that kills you, so we can just smack our face into that sign, and it won't phase Faith at all. Right, Masku, we've got this dodgy skip coming up. Would you like to explain that?
Yes, so what we're doing here is we're basically glitching. We are glitching our way out of an invisible barrier that is meant to keep us out of this area, but because the barrier exists, we can actually abuse it and get on top of it without dying once Nikos gets them.
There we go, that should be it. Easy.
This is the invisible barrier that I was talking about. It's supposed to keep us out from this area, but we can abuse it.
And so we skipped the whole tram area up there.
Die. Okay.
Coming up, we'll be doing another elevator clip. Pretty straightforward, but it saves us from... Basically, when Faith gets out of the elevator, she stops for a few seconds and you're just forced to wait, which is really strange, so just skipping that and it saves a little bit of time. Also, while it's loading up outside of here, we can kind of get pushed up by one of the boxes here, so if we go under it, then as it spawns up we'll get pushed up, so then we can get over this fence. Very handy.
You're forced to wait there anyway, so if you can't get out of the elevator while everything blows around you.
A very specific kick glitch over that, can be dodgy, but that was the first try.
That was the harder angle.
And that's most of the tough stuff for this chapter. The rest is good movement, and then there's another big thing towards the end. So there's some guards that come up there, if I can jump up. We'll kick glitch up to this to avoid climbing a pole. And it takes a long time to climb that pole, so they can shoot you while you're doing that.
You're doing good. Mall's just a few blocks ahead.
Skip the pipes here by doing some very efficient climbing. And some forced climbing. So much fun.
Yeah, some unavoidable pipes here. Can't do anything about it really.
They're nice and red though. Some good contrast. Get to look at some eye candy.
You're close to the mall, Faith.
So up here there's a couple guards that pop out to start shooting you. One of them likes to go in front of this springboard here. He didn't that time, but even if he goes there, you can clip straight through him by starting the springboard animation, and you'll just go whoop, right through him. As if he's a ghost.
That's also the sound effect you hear when you go right through. Whoop.
Whoop. Okay. A little bit of a small wall boost there over that fence. Very, very tight angle for that, but yeah, saves having to jump over the fence twice. So coming up is Beamer. It's one frame trick that you have to get, and it skips quite a large section of the mall that we're making our way to.
About 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Save
so it's really good. What a Beamer is, actually, do you want to explain that, Masco?
You can go ahead.
Alright, so basically if you wall climb and then Q-turn as soon as you hit a part of the wall that kind of sticks out, like the top of a door frame or something, if you Q-turn like on the exact frame that you stick out, then you'll get kind of launched backwards quite far, and it helps you reach some really interesting places. Only... Oh, my game just alt-tabbed. Hold up. Windows likes to do that sometimes. Here we go. Good old Windows. And so it allows us to get some... Oh, happened again. Alright, there we go. That shouldn't happen again. It's usually only twice a night. So here's Beamer. Let's see how many attempts it takes us.
It is indeed a frame perfect trick, so it's not the easiest to get.
Well, it should be just ahead of you.
Oh, that would have been third. You can tell when it turns green that you've got it.
So what you see is this yellow sort of like ledge on the wall climb. The moment Nikos pushes up to the ledge, the game like pushes him backwards off the wall a bit to keep the wall climb going.
There we go. That was what, like something around 10th try? Not exactly very good, but I'll take it.
I think that was 8th try.
Yeah, it still saves time. I mean, like, even if you...
It still saves time.
Yeah, if you spend a lot of time on it, you'll still save time over going the long way. So it's worth doing. And that's the last thing of the chapter, really. Oh, Windows likes to alt-tab here. Let's hope that doesn't happen during big strats.
I certainly hope so.
So yeah, Beam is the last thing of this chapter that you really have to worry about. Everything else is just good movement. Making our way to the top of the mall.
I mean, you do skip about the press here, but
yeah.
Simple at this point.
And unfortunately, you do have to wait for this to slow down. There's nothing else to do. You just have to... Because if it's going too fast, then you'll take damage. So it has to be pretty much... Oh. I don't know. Windows is liking to alt-tab here. Must be related to the clicks. So we'll try not to left click too much. So we've gone up here. These guys don't really worry us because we're on the floor above them.
They do have a goddamn machine gun, but
they do.
They can't get us.
And that concludes chapter 5.
Should be one last door and you're out of there.
Don't know what Windows is doing. Every time I click it, it does that. Apologies for that.
Looks like
there we
my
go.
little friend is back.
I'm sure it will go away.
Yep.
Hopefully.
Theoretically.
And what we have now is chapter 6, and the beginning of chapter 6 is a pretty sizable skip.
Yeah. Oh. Any second. Okay. Unfortunately, that does happen, but we should be back up now.
You're live to me now. You're live to me now.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Sorry about that.
We're alright. We're alright.
So we've got a checkpoint up here that allows us to try this a few times instead of going from the start of the level.
Yes.
What we're doing is getting onto an invisible wall here, kind of like the last chapter, and it lets us get out of bounds. Can be a little bit tricky, so let's hope we get a good angle on that. Just about.
We'll try and roll off on an invisible
There we
platform.
go. So there's two things that can happen there. You can either roll or slide. If you slide, then it doesn't reset your fall height, so you'll just fall to your death out of bounds. But if you roll, then you reset the full height, and that's
what happens here? We're out of bounds. We're about to wall run kick glitch up a wall.
I'm actually doing the safe strat just so I can make sure I get it. So we're jumping into a loading zone here for further on in the chapter. Very it's strange that we can actually get there from there, but I guess that's just how the level is designed.
Yeah. You go close to the wall, you can jump away from.
There was a puzzle just there.
That loads this area.
Yep. There was a puzzle just there. Oh, another alt tab. That I skipped just by doing the button from outside of the wall, so it didn't have to go around. Oh. Windows, please. Allow me to play. Alright, there we go. So what we're doing here is jumping over this wall here.
Should be somewhere below you.
And if we can grab onto a ledge... Yeah, if we can grab onto a ledge, then we skip an entire section. Oof, where we have to make our way down to the bottom.
Should be somewhere below you.
Should be good. Yep, there we go. Oh no! Every time I click, the game alt tabs. I think the main solution would be to restart the game, but we probably wouldn't want to do that. So that takes us down to the secret underground place, where some dodgy business is happening related to the conspiracy.
You don't really get too much
Who's
into
are
it,
you there? Get out now.
especially when you skip those cutscenes.
Yeah, so from the cutscene that just happened there, we found out some information about some kind of new cops, which are also parkour artists. They're runners, and so now they're chasing us, and they have tasers, and they're basically kung fu masters. So we want to avoid those dudes as much as possible. Another thing in this game, if you get near an enemy, or another alt tab.
Yeah, every time you left click on a
Yeah.
door.
I could restart the game. I mean, we are
It might be
quite
worth it
ahead
after
of
this
schedule.
chapter.
Yeah, quite ahead of schedule, so that wouldn't really affect anything.
might
Yeah,
wanna
so
do
if you
that
get
after
too
the
close to enemies, you'll actually, your camera will lock onto them, almost like some kind of console lock on for aiming, and it's really, really annoying because you can't walk around properly because of it. So as long as you just don't look at enemies, then you'll avoid that. Okay, yep, that was gonna happen because we
It
clicked.
happens every time you click.
Yep.
Yeah, you should probably restart the game after this. It doesn't
Yep.
take too long.
Actually, I think I'll do it now because I can't get through this window unless I click.
Okay.
Okay, sorry about this, lads. Totally not doing any splicing or anything from this kind of
No,
gap.
no.
Nothing wrong here at all. If I'm magically perfect, you know what's happened. I've put in some world record footage, and I'm just pretending it's mine. So once it's back up, it shouldn't have the same issue. Usually a restart fixes it, so that's all good.
We are live, so technical issues are always a possibility.
Always a possibility.
I mean, nothing bad has ever happened during any run in a marathon, really.
Never.
No, never, ever.
It's a good time for some donations if you have any.
I believe we have. So I don't know if you guys were able to hear the donations I read earlier during the train. I know that on stream they couldn't. I'll just
I
repeat those
heard.
really quickly.
I think I heard them. Yeah.
Okay. For the sake of the viewers, Gingerbread Man 1 had given $10 saying go Nico, sub 40. And Texas Tech had given $12 saying try to keep the unintentional deaths to less than 15. And they've been keeping count. So
Oh.
$15.
Ooh.
That says sub 25 question mark?
Alrighty. We'll see about that. So I can see my mouse has kind of moved to my second monitor here, even though I'm in game. So let's hope that nothing bad happens from
Look, I'm
that.
gonna try and get the word out on the network about Icarus. Warn the other runners.
Do it. I'm going after that guy.
All right.
Well,
So chapter
anywho.
7 is.
Yes.
Oh wait, my splits have gone forwards. That's my own splits though. No worries. Chapter 7 is a very, very long chapter in the main game. But it's very, very short in the speedrun. Oh no, the clicking is back. Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Let me
That's
see if...
gonna be an issue.
Yeah, it
few
is.
glitches.
We've got some big skips coming up. Let me see if alt-tabbing and jumping back fixes the issue at all. Don't think I've ever had this problem quite as bad, but I guess if it was to ever go wrong, then this is the time that it does. Okay, so my mouse is still going out. Let's give this a try. Nah, still did it. I
Time
do
to
have...
change your button.
Yeah, maybe. Or what other solutions could there be? Okay. Yeah, every single time I click, just about every single time is doing that. We could try a restart again. I mean, twice in a row probably won't happen, but let's give it a go. At the very least, we're taking the schedule back on track, you know.
Your help is deeply appreciated.
This is all planned. All right, game is booting up here. Let's give it a go. All right, let's continue.
Let's hope the problem.
Fingers crossed. Yep.
I believe it does.
Okay, there we go. So what we're doing here is we're getting up out of bounds, and we're going to go across this road. This road is actually, it has no collision, so we have to kick glitch across. We can't just run down. And this is the boat up here. This is where the whole chapter takes place, and we're not even going to go in it. Don't even care. It's going to go straight around to here. And then this is a very tall wall, but the right angle will let us jump over it. And then we'll jump down into a loading zone. Or actually, I believe if you just wait long enough, it loads. And then here we are at the very end of the chapter. Nice and fast.
Chapter's name is The Boat. We just skip the entire boat. Go straight to the end.
Yeah, we can make this fight really, really fast by changing up our attacks. She doesn't like when we crouch and then punch and then stand and punch and stuff, so she does get a single hit on us. Alright, chapter 8, second to last chapter. Not too much in here, but a couple of things that could go wrong, so we'll see how it goes. We've got the runner cops in here that we have to avoid. They're not too bad, but this section right here is probably the worst. We've got to run in a specific area so that they don't kick us. And now we've got a little bit of a tough thing here. Let's see if we can get it. Oops, yep. So the plan there is to kick glitch and then sidestep off of that invisible platform so that we can get to the platform lower down. It isn't really used anywhere else in the run, as far as I'm aware, but we do it there. It's a very kind of awkward little alleyway that we're jumping in, so let's give it a go here. Easy, just like that. We have to roll because otherwise we'll take damage.
First try.
First try. And slide into the elevator. Gotta listen to some nice music. Always good.
I love a good old elevator music too.
Okay, we've got a couple tough kick glitches here. Well, the first one's not too bad. The second one is very, very specific. So we're just gonna get over to the next building like this. And now, easy. Easy peasy.
Nice.
You have to look at that pole in a very specific way, kind of looking past it, and it's kind of tough to get sometimes. But that just lets us skip a whole section of running around and dodging the runner cops. So now we're going to get into the atrium. It's casually, it's a really, really well designed level. Really, really enjoyable. Nice atmosphere. Just all around super nice.
It's
But at the
also
top
difficult
is...
area casually.
Yep. Can be a bit of a puzzle. But at the top there's a sniper waiting for us. We're going to be breaking our sister out of the truck that's transporting her to either jail or like her trial or something. So we're going to be stopping, yeah, stopping the truck and trying to save our sister because she's been wrongfully accused. Good movement is a must in this area. It can be pretty tough because if you make a mistake, you're gonna fall to your death. So let's not fall. So far, so good. Now there is a skip you can do at the very top of here where you actually clip, or you get out of bounds to the very top of the building, and you can fall down past the vents into a loading zone for the next area. But that one is a little bit tricky sometimes. So we're just gonna take the slow way in the vents. Listen to the conversation between the dudes that sometimes happens.
Jeez, the rats are getting big in here.
Oh, they haven't seen big rats yet. Also, a thing I just did there is while I was falling, I did a kick, which cancelled out the taking damage animation. So we still took damage, but we didn't get the animation, so it saves a little bit of time there. So what we're doing is we're dying so that it spawns it spawns the truck that's going to be coming a little bit early. So what we're going to do here is try and do the convoy skip. Got to line up a very specific point and shoot through the building. Just like that. Also, we have a little bit of a rat friend. He's a big rat. Running through there. See, that just skips the cars driving. There's a whole little animated scene that happens. And that's pretty much the rest of this chapter. We just got to go down. This strat actually here is very, very interesting. We're basically rolling to reset our fall height and avoid all of the stairs. Just go all the way down. And finish facing backwards. Alright, last chapter. Here we go. Let's see if we can get up to the top there. Oh, no. A little bit of a puzzle at the start here to get to this. And it can sometimes slide us back down.
A little bit of a sound warning coming up as well.
Oh, yes.
Can get a little loud for a moment.
There we go. Made it. Yeah, it can get very loud, especially if you free scroll. So we're setting up that that thing. We're opening a vent, and well, that would be a little bit dangerous to be standing out in that hallway. I think you'd be cooked alive. All right, so coming up here is a very interesting skip using an elevator clip. Masco, would you be able to talk about that while I try and get it?
Yes, you've seen before. We have clipped on top of the elevators before using the buttons. So what's basically going to happen here is we're going to clip on top of an elevator by falling on top of the button and pushing the button at the same time, which allows us to clip into the nearest floor, nearest physical floor around us. And since we're mid-air, coiling, the nearest floor around us is going to be the elevator roof. So first we'll clip the roof. And since we do push the button while we clip in, we're also going to activate the elevator. So it's going to go burst at full speed.
I'll give this a couple of attempts. It can be a little finicky, but it's pretty quick to get back there, so after maybe the third attempt, I'll just stay on the elevator and we can ride it out and see where that takes us. So we shoot that guy with the machine gun because he can be a little bit annoying, shooting us in the back. The other guys we don't have to worry about. No. Let's give that one more try.
Skip is also a little finicky because you do have to turn around and push the button and hide if you
and
jump.
with the other elevator clips, you have to kind of just Q-turn. With this one, we're actually coiling to get our feet up into the second, like the top half of the elevator, so it's a little bit different. A little bit trickier. There we go, easy. So we're on top of the elevator, we're going to wait for it to start going up. Then we're going to line it up. See that bag there? And the vent. So we're going to fall down, pause buffer there, and pause there. And it should load us up into the next room.
So
Very
we're
nice.
out of bounds and we're just waiting for the area to load.
Yep, so we jump into the loading zone and then reload. And we're into the next section. Very nice. I was worried about that one, that wasn't too bad.
Almost too bad. Third try is alright.
So we're getting up into this building to skip the sniper area, and we're jumping on this invisible wall. Have to keep jumping because it's only 1 pixel thick, otherwise we'll fall like that. Oops. Yeah, if you don't jump correctly, you'll fall down because it's a very, very thin wall.
So yeah, it's a very thin, narrow platform you're on top of.
Yeah.
So you have to keep jumping. Walking would push you off. You have to have a specific angle where you're looking at and just keep jumping.
Yeah. Actually, in my
Yeah, the
PB,
cost.
I got just to the end, and then I fell down, and it took me ages to get back up. It was soul crushing. Alright, we're pretty close to the end now. There's only one thing left that I'm hoping that we get.
There's an elevator ahead.
So up at the top here, there's a server room. You know, in the main game, well, casually you have to take out all the servers with the gun. But for this one, we're going to try and clip straight through the door that blocks us, so that we don't have to do that thing. And if we don't get shot, we should be all good. And that'll lead us right towards the end.
It looks like the security
One
doors
final
to the
clip,
roof are
basically
closed.
through the roof.
Yeah.
If you destroy those servers, their emergency protocol
You
should
could say same
automatically
like
unlock the doors.
clipping over the lamp in chapter 3.
Yeah,
It
the
would
same,
basically
something
say-
like that. We're abusing that mechanic. So if we don't get shot, we should be all good to get it. Okay,
A little
not
bit
bad.
of RNG in there.
Oh, no. We got shot to death. Let's give that another go.
Shot to death even if we got there. Sometimes even on the easy mode, the cards can be good and shoot you down.
There we go. So we just climbed over that, easy peasy.
Miller.
So time is going to be coming up pretty soon. We just got to get to the roof, and then there's one final little thing. So we quit and reload to skip the cutscene because it's pretty long, and it just takes us to after the cutscene. So on the story, we found out that Jackknife was actually behind it all along, and he's got Kate in the in the helicopter. So we've got to go save her. And time. So that is Mirror's Edge. But wait, the helicopter's going to crash. What's going to happen? Are we going to save Kate?
Oh, that's moment of story.
Tension.
I think I believe she survives that drop.
And she is saved. And that is the Mirror's Edge. Apologies for those technical difficulties in the middle, but we managed to save it at the end there. And yeah, all things considered, I think that went pretty okay.
Yeah,
That is the game there.
Apart from the difficulties, also everything
yeah.
went pretty smoothly actually.
Thank you very much, Mazku, for joining me. Mazku is a Mirror's Edge Catalyst runner, but he's also doing Mirror's Edge as well, so he knows some stuff about the game. Thank you very much for co-commentating, and thank you for, well, I guess, Speed Gaming for hosting, and everyone for contributing to the California Fireleaf Marathon. It's going very, very well. So, yeah, that is the end of the game. I guess that's going to be it from me.
Thank you very much, Nikos. It was a pleasure to have you. Mirror's
Thank
Edge,
you for having me.
always a fun game to watch when it lets you actually play
Yep.
the video game
Yeah.
instead of having you out.
Good fun. We're closer to schedule now, so that's good.
All
Well,
black.
we will be moving on to the next game, and we do actually have mini surprise, since we are still a little bit ahead of schedule, we're going to slip in a little bit of a filler game. It's going to be a good old 6-minute speedrun of Bastion any percent. And if you're wondering, if you know that game and you're wondering how you can beat it in 6 minutes, well, we're going to do that in just a minute. So stick around and we will get that set up in just a moment.